The most influential value investor just put $5 billion in this company.
Kaylee was talking about at the top of the show, the fact that he's put about $5 billion into the ADR of TSMC. I mean, this is a really sizable chunk.
A Taiwanese business.
Yes, exactly. A Taiwanese business, a chip maker. So 2 thoughts come to mind. One, is he calling a bottom in the chip making sector? It's had a lot of struggles, be supply chains or demand.
They buy a stock and they think if it goes up, it's wonderful. And if it goes down, it's bad. We think just the opposite. When it goes down, we love it because we'll buy more. And if it goes up, it kills us to buy more.
Be greedy when others are fearful, and be fearful when others are greedy. Boy, did Warren Buffett put his money where his mouth is. As arguably the best investor of all time, is making a move in Taiwan Semiconductors. Now, everything in the stock is baked into being bad news, as the semiconductor industry overall has been getting hammered due to consumers slowing down, inventory levels being high, and the competition is picking up. We can see here that year to date, semiconductors have been an underperformer, being down roughly 30% over the last year. Now, the semiconductors is something we've talked about a ton on this channel, as I believe this is a generational buying opportunity for the semiconductors. It's a matter of which semiconductor are you choosing. In this video, we're going to talk about why Bourne is buying the stock, and we're going to try to come up with a fair market value, converting the Taiwan dollar into US dollars to make sure that we get our conversion rate right and we get a valuation in USDs. So guys, please consider subscribing and smash that thumbs up for this work I'm putting in, and hopefully you find some value in it. Obviously, the demand for chips is absolutely not going anywhere. Everything we do in life has a chip, whether it's your cell phone, your car, and any other electronics you deal with on a daily basis has some sort of chip in it. Let's start with the fact that AMD, Apple, and Nvidia are some of Taiwan Semiconductor's customers, as TSM doesn't just produce chips designed in-house, it is also the global leader in contract chip production. The share price was down 33% this year. The company is growing strong top-line revenue and returning capital with a dividend, so this falls in the wheelhouse of everything you can think of Buffett wanting. He's essentially handing out the shovels to all the chip makers by buying TSM. And while TSM is down due to political tensions and the drawdown with the chip manufacturers, overall, it's probably one of the safer bets when we think about long-term investments in the chip industry. And as we can see here, Apple chip supplier TSMC plans to build a second $12 billion Arizona factory. So here TSM is now expanding their global presence, building a $12 billion factory in Arizona. When we look at the forward PE on Taiwan Semiconductors here, we can see what's sitting right at a 13. And when we check valuations with its peers, it is definitely trading at a discount, which is great to see. Not only is it trading at a discount, but it's also outgrowing its peers as well. So we can see here it is truly a value play. Now, what is holding the price back? Well, that's political tension, that's fears within the semiconductors in general.
The demand has weakened further, even just over the course of 3 months, worse than what they expected. I think the macro has softened. A lot of their customers are burning through excess inventory that they built up for the last 2 years.
It's definitely the economic backdrop of a slowing consumer, but this is the time to accumulate shares at a cheap price target. When we look at their third quarterly report here, we can see that they did $20.2 billion, and this is in USD, which is almost a 36% increase year over year, and increased 11.4% from the previous quarter. This is rapid growth within the company. Revenue is expected to be between 19 and 20 billion. That's US again. Stock analysis has them doing just under 100 billion. This comes out to about $94 billion in USD by 2024. We're looking to get 2025 to be about 100 billion in revenue on our analysis. All right, guys, so I have them doing in 2025 right around $100 billion in revenue, and then steadily growing from there. In 2030 doing about 143 billion in revenue. When we look for an EV to EBITDA multiplier here, we can see that they're currently at a 8.7, which is very, very low to industry standard. I think we could put a above average EV to EBITDA. About 12 is about what I would use for this company here. For me, guys, that gives me a $67 price target with a future value of $202 for TSM. Mind you, I don't need that much rate of return because it does pay a dividend, but it is also an ADR. For me, guys, definitely in the wheelhouse between $65 to $75 for TSM here. It looks like it could be valuable. It looks like that's where the value really takes place. The company's grown very strong and it has tremendous clients underneath them. Demand for chip space is not going anywhere. When we look at the 52-week range in the stock, it has hit these levels before. 52-week range is $59.43 up to $145. So there is an opportunity to definitely scoop these up in the 60s or even possibly the 50s. In long term, guys, I think that would be a tremendous buy. Now, when we think about the economic backdrop, the Fed's still hiking rates here. I wouldn't rush to anything as I do think the consumer is really going to slow down. I think earnings are going to disappoint in the fourth quarter and the first quarter of next year. Could lend some more downside risk to the semiconductors if the consumer does not strengthen over the next few quarters. And we're also fighting the Fed and inflation still. So guys, be patient with this one, but I definitely think there's some opportunity in that price target. Obviously, there is risk with this. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell stocks, but this was just my dive into TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed that. As always, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for spending it with me, and we will see you next time, investors. Peace.